Joe Rogan has just spoken out about Diddy's arrest and his connection to Epstein in a recent episode of his podcast, and you are not going to believe what he had to say. Episode of the Joe Rogan Experience. Joe Rogan spoke with comedian Andrew Schulz regarding the recent allegations against Diddy and talked about how Diddy's arrest might actually just be the start. Just like Epstein, Diddy kept a list of everyone he was connected with and even made videos of everyone at his parties. Now that this evidence is slowly coming to light, A-list celebrities like Ashton Kutcher, Kevin Hart, and even Jay-Z are scared of what the tapes Diddy recorded might reveal.
Wow, okay, I've got a lot I can't tell. So, I can't tell that one either. I mean, I'm like actually cycling through them. There was one moment, so it's not really a party story, but our relationship was really bizarre. So it started over punked, because he was like, yo,
don't punk
you
me.
can't punk me. And I was like, I don't know what to tell you. Everybody's on the table. He's like, not me, I'm off the table. And so that started our conversation. We became fast friends, and we used to just hang out, watch football.
Close to Diddy have also confirmed that Diddy used to record everything that was happening at his parties and would use the tapes to blackmail people. Allegedly, Diddy had over 250 cameras hidden throughout his house and would keep them running continuously. This allegation is something that both the U.S. attorney and Diddy's own head of security, Gene Deal, have brought forward.
Combs allegedly planned and controlled the sex performances, which he called freak-offs, and he often electronically recorded them. The freak-offs sometimes lasted days at a time, involved multiple commercial sex workers, and often involved a variety of narcotics, such as ketamine, ecstasy, and GHB, which Combs distributed to the victims to keep them obedient and compliant. As alleged, when Combs didn't get his way, he was violent, and he subjected victims to physical, emotional, and verbal abuse so that they would participate in the freak-offs.
Dude, in Homeland Security, check please.
The raid at Diddy's house actually being a cover-up to hide bigger names is an idea that even former law enforcement officers and lawyers have supported. Keep in mind that Diddy was involved with global leaders and even U.S. presidents. It is well established, and both Obama and Trump were friends with Diddy, and it's completely possible that tapes that incriminate celebrities are being stolen under the guise of a raid.
How do you feel about the situation that Diddy in?
Let's say this. Something else is going on. They didn't raid, they searched with a warrant his premises on the West Coast, right? They searched his premises on the East Coast in Florida, right? On the same property that the premises was located that they searched in Florida, he had a second mansion. They didn't touch that one. Why not? And when they walk out of there, they got a small trash bag and they have a medium-sized cardboard box. What was it they seized that would fit into those items? I have a sneaking suspicion from my background in criminal defense that what they seized was some evidence that was very incriminating to other people. Now, after they seized the evidence, they had no probable cause to arrest him on any crime. He hasn't been indicted. They talked to him at an airport before he got on a private jet to fly to an island that has no extradition agreement with the United States. Have you heard anybody trying to prosecute him?
Not at all.
So what did they do? See, the feds are interesting. Who served the search warrant?
Homeland Security.
Now, what the hell do they have to do with that? That's a FBI mandate.
The idea that Diddy was recording videos to blackmail politicians and other celebrities in high places isn't as far-fetched as you might think. Diddy's former bodyguard, Gene Deal, has confirmed multiple times that Diddy had a habit of keeping dirt on the people he worked with, so he could use it as leverage later. This explanation lines up exactly with what we've seen so far. How do you think Diddy managed to escape arrest for so long, despite openly saying that he was committing crimes?
Why haven't anybody came out defending Diddy? All these celebrity friends he have, and nobody came out.
They brand. It's all about the money. They saw what he did to Cassie. With the kicking, the punching. They saw what they did to Cassie. They know that nobody in America like that. So now, these people are represented by a brand. Whether it's some about the music, clothing, movies, They not gonna come out and speak on nothing that has anything to do with them, and they praying that they not on the tape. Doing crazy stuff, being oiled up in the whole 9 yards. They praying. So until the feds say, hey, yo, listen here. We got you on, hey buddy, we got you on this tape, and girl looked like she was pretty young. We're not gonna show it, but we need you to come and testify against Brother Love, P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, you know, Sean Combs. That's when they're gonna start talking. And they're not gonna be talking in his favor. When the feds come to them and show them what they got on tape, because if he had 250 tapes all over, 250 cameras all over the house, somebody got caught stealing a cookie out the cookie jar. It could be your favorite pastor. It could be your favorite politician. But they didn't think they was being watched, and Brother Love was watching.
Shockingly, there are some celebrities in Hollywood who are claiming that the abuse and blackmail that Diddy carried out is only a small part of what happens in the industry. According to Donald Rawlings, Diddy and Epstein are just some of the people who ended up getting exposed, and in reality, every major celebrity in Hollywood and the music industry had to go through abuse to get where they are today.
That mansion at the time that DHS, or Department of Homeland Security, made entry into this mansion and onto this property, and you saw the juxtaposition of these heavily armed vehicles and those very expensive luxury cars that are parked right on that driveway right there. So clearly a very different sight than we're used to seeing. But there you see some of the people that were inside that mansion at the time of the raid. They are being talked to by investigators.
Very suspicious about that. You don't get invited to those parties that get.
Weinstein is another major name that got exposed because he was sexually abusing celebrities. But like always, nothing changed. Couch culture is rampant in Hollywood, and no one is doing anything to stop it. These people are always trying to recruit more people they can take advantage of, and literally, no one is safe. Just look at what Diddy tried to do with Mike Tyson.
It truly is about the Benjamin, as we see.
Oh yes, he's glittering. It truly is about the Benjamin. Well, now when we come back, we're going to talk more with Puffy, and if you want to hang out, more than welcome to stick around, my brother. All right, we'll be right back with more right after this.
Following Diddy's arrest, Jay-Z's name has continuously been thrown around in connection to the alleged crimes, but so far Jay-Z hasn't said anything. Why is that? Well, allegedly, Jay-Z is trying to stay out of the drama as much as possible because he knows there's a good chance that he's going to get arrested too if he interferes.
2020, y'all. Yeah. And it's different than when it was 2016. You know, the game has been elevated. As we can tell, there's no expense being spared. We had a black billionaire's lunch. Yeah. You understand? Right. And we here together, and we're going to keep staying together. We getting tighter. That's you know what I'm saying? And united we stand, and ain't nothing else to us. Black excellence.
There's only one person. Go on. Then I call him Sean. That's Jay-Z. We call each other Sean. Okay. Yeah. Nobody else could call me Sean. He's the only person who's Sean approved. There's not a single person that outside of family that should be outside of my mother. Okay, just should be calling me. Yeah.
Jay-Z and Diddy go way back, and there are multiple alleged victims who claim that Jay-Z abused them with Diddy's help. One of these victims is Jay-Z's ex-backup dancer Jaguar Wright, who claims that Jay-Z raped her and actually recorded himself doing it. Recently, in an episode of Uncensored with Piers Morgan, Jaguar Wright talked about the allegations surrounding Diddy's arrest and said that Jay-Z and Beyoncé put people on planes after rendering them unconscious, a jab at the rumor that Jay-Z and Beyoncé were involved in the death of Aaliyah.
Why there's no vindication for me? Because for 4 years, I've been screaming, not just Diddy, but Diddy and Jay-Z are monsters. And the victim-making machine kept going on.
Jay-Z has been notable by his silence since these charges were brought against Diddy. Why do you think that is?
Because that's what he does. He starts little fires everywhere, forces everyone involved to go and carry water while he sneaks away without a response. That changes now, Sean. You must respond. You have no choice. Harvey Weinstein, Jeffrey Epstein, Robert Kelly, Sean Combs have one person in common, professionally and privately. Sean Carter. This has been a fist of tyranny that has been punching through our culture and our society for decades. It must stop.
There's been obviously a lot of
cruelty-free artistry.
Right, there's been a lot of rumor mill about what has happened in the rap world. A lot of allegations that the misogyny in the lyrics clearly was based on a general misogyny towards women away from the music, and that clearly seems to have been borne out by these charges against Diddy, which if he's found guilty of all this, he's never coming out of prison. How dangerous do you think?
Thank God.
How dangerous do you think he is as a person?
I think he's one of the most dangerous people I've ever met. A lot of people have been questioning, well, she doesn't really know him. She has no knowledge of him. She doesn't have a picture with him. I'm smarter than Claudia Jordan. I would never take a picture with the devil. Everyone knew he was the devil. He's been the devil for 30 years. He's been covered and protected by not only Clive Davis, but Lucian Grange. He was selected to be the demon that he is, to keep the culture in line so the industry could continue to reap it for all of its precious jewels. We have too many lost. The list of lost is ridiculous, and everyone knows Diddy was selected for this job.
Jaguar Wright claims that she's not the only one that Jay-Z abused, and there are thousands of victims in the music industry that had to go through abuse at his hands. Interestingly, Jay-Z had been quiet ever since the news of Diddy being arrested dropped, but as soon as Jaguar Wright started talking about him, he quickly filed a lawsuit to shut her down. Why would Jay-Z do this if it was just a random accusation?
How many victims potentially do you think there could be?
Thousands. Thousands. I've talked to hundreds that I deal with still myself. I have 3 victims right now who are willing to give testimony about not only what Mr. Carter has done to them, but his wife as well. They're a nasty little couple. They do nasty things.
What do you think happened with Kim
Keeping
Porter?
people against their will. Putting people on planes while they're unconscious, just like Aaliyah got on that plane. Unconscious. There's a lot of things that people don't want to talk about, Pierce.
Listen, like I said, Jay-Z and Beyonce are not here, unfortunately, to respond to that.
I know. I'm just being honest with you.
You're perfectly entitled to your views, obviously. Kim Porter,
yes.
A new book claims that Diddy may have been involved in her early death. What do you think of that?
I think people should really look into that more. I am friends with Albie Shore. I love him. I love his children. I knew Kim. We used to all hang out together at the Kit Kat Club back in the mid-90s when Diddy was first starting his reign. I watched that whole thing happen. And everything that Albert has been through, every attempt on his life that has been ignored by the authorities, it all leads back to Diddy. And everyone knows it. The wiretapping of the phones, putting air tag on children during visits. These are normal practices that these people do.
Jaguar, I've got to leave it there. I really appreciate you joining me. Thank Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me. And thank you for caring.
I do care. Thank you very much.
Jay-Z and Beyonce have long been rumored to be controlling the entertainment industry, but it is very rare for them to take direct action against someone like they did with Jaguar Wright. So far, almost everything that Jaguar Wright has said has later been proven true. Will that be the case this time too?
Unnecessary court fees and litigations because Jay-Z wants me broken, stopped, or under his control. And it ain't gonna happen, Sean. I'm never gonna be under your control. Never. You need to learn how to control your wife and her friends and their mouths. Because you got Beyonce in the Beehive looking real fucking dumb right now. 5 million unfollowed, and that number's gonna go up with every image in one of those freak-off tapes. And God help, if anybody here, how that bitch really talks about people with her, they'll start unfollowing by the tens of hundreds. Again. And they should. Because the truth is, the only reason they were following was because of the witchcraft and the spells that were being pushed out through the media. Y'all ain't fans because y'all really love them and y'all really think they're the best. You're fans because you fell for the hype. And they are hypes. I know I can sing. I've been able to do that my whole life. And they've been trying to stop me my whole career. Because see, unlike Beyonce, I'm not willing to hurt people to get famous. See, that's the part of the story that they're not telling y'all. That the more terrible you are, the more they'll protect you.
Unfortunately, the allegations don't end here, and it only gets worse. More than 100 new lawsuits have just been filed against Diddy, and almost all of them are related to minors. The new lawsuits were brought by a personal injury lawyer in Houston, Tony Busby, who claims that some of the alleged victims include minors who were abused when they were as young as 9 years old.
Since the day Diddy was indicted for sex trafficking and racketeering, we've been warning you he's just the tip of the iceberg. Today we're being told a list of Diddy's accomplices will drop very soon. Powerhouse attorney Tony Busby just announced that more than 100 people are filing lawsuits against Diddy and others for sexual abuse. 24 of the victims are minors, one of them as young as 9 years old. Diddy allegedly used the promise of a record deal to lure that young victim to his recording studio, where the child was assaulted by Diddy and several others. Diddy's team says the allegations are meritless. But Busby says his upcoming lawsuits will be naming names.
The day will come when we will name names other than Sean Combs, and there's a lot of names. The names that we're going to name, assuming that our investigators confirm and corroborate what we've been told, are names that will shock you. They already know who they are. And I'm talking here about not just the cowardly but complicit bystanders. That is, those people that we know watched this behavior occur and did nothing. And I'm talking about the people that participated, encouraged it, egged it on. They know who they are. These defendants will not only include individuals, but would also include corporate entities who ultimately profited off of this culture and behavior. I'm looking at banks, pharmaceutical companies, hotels.
This string of lawsuits could shake up the top levels of corporate America and Hollywood. Another lawyer says some of Diddy's secret sex tapes are being shopped around. The tape features an A-list celebrity who doesn't seem to realize they were being recorded.
According to Tony Busby, the lawsuits filed against Diddy include the names of some of the biggest celebrities in the industry and heads of some of the biggest corporations in America. We already know that Diddy was involved in bribing the hotel staff where he stayed with Cassie, and it seems like a lot more of the people involved with Diddy are going to be exposed.
And I'm sure that's probably not public information yet, but who's the person that's number one on that invitation list?
Leonardo DiCaprio.
And I can get on that list,
Yes,
right?
without a doubt, you are invited.
That is so generous of you. Cheers to that.
See you at the White Park.
13, 14, 15. We're talking about 25 people so far out of 120 cases that we intend to file. I would expect there'll be a lot more cases than that. Let's not forget we're talking about behavior that took place over more than 25 years, all over the United States, but primarily in New York, California, and Miami.
And some of these names that I guess will be coming out, who allegedly aided and abetted Diddy and his twisted little escapades, are these names that I would know, that people would recognize? How high is this going up?
Certainly names that you would recognize. And let's think about the kind of people that would be involved in this. People that would be in the room, that would be facilitating this, egging this kind of thing on, encouraging this, participating, venues that were participating, sponsors, hotels, banks. Let's remember that a lot of people were being flown in from across the country and paid in cash. Obviously, that cash had to come somewhere. There had to be some explanation for taking out that much cash from the bank. We already know that there were a lot of drugs in play. So there are many facets of this. There are many people involved. There are many entities involved. And, the ones that really irk me, there's been a lot of focus on, well, who are the celebrities? Who are the celebrities? What I'm more focused on, obviously, to the extent there's a celebrity that it occurred at their house or that they were involved or participated, they will certainly be named. But what really irks me are those who profited off of this culture that was created and that just essentially ruined hundreds of lives.
And we're talking banks, we're talking record executives.
Record executives, record companies, other companies that were sponsors of some of these parties and after parties, clubs, hotels, you name it. This conduct was, this wasn't an annual party. This individual allegedly was partying 3 or 4 times a week, and these parties were wild. They were beyond your imagination, and they were nasty. And there were a lot of things going on that should not go on, and a lot of victims that were being subjected to exploitation and all kinds of sexual conduct that people just should not be subjected to.
All right, well, hopefully more people, alleged victims, come forward and we get the full accountability, because we want everybody who is complicit in this to pay a price if they were.
One of these celebrities who has recently started speaking out about how they might move out of Hollywood altogether is Ashton Kutcher. Back in the day, Ashton Kutcher was a regular at Diddy parties, and he was actually directly involved with Jay-Z. For him to try and get away now is extremely suspicious, especially considering that Ashton Kutcher has already publicly come forward in support of convicted rapist Danny Masterson back in 2023.
Ashton Kutcher, he has a right to be kind of alarmed if he was doing things with Diddy. Remember they used to have that group called the what do they call it? The Brat Pack? With Diddy, him, and a couple other guys was hanging out. Leonardo, one other guy too. I forgot the other guy's name. So, they all might be worried. His tape recorders went. His camera equipment was working. He was videotaping everything. So they might have that videotape already.
One of the reasons that so many celebrities are worried about their involvement with Diddy is because of what Diddy did to the participants at his parties. Allegedly, both the drinks and the baby oil at Diddy's parties were spiked with GHB and ecstasy to make guests more open to doing things that they normally wouldn't do. There are rumors that this is why Kevin Hart was doing what we all saw in the recent video. Allegedly, Kevin Hart had been drugged.
Everybody moves out, it's just me and the lady. This is my scene. I'm used to this type of thing. Doing what I do best. Oh! Did the camera catch that? Got the camera! Got the camera! All right, okay. First of all, I know it looks bad with me running into the camera, okay? It was It was Puffy's party. He's called me, said, Kev, can you host a party with me? I said, yeah, dude, I said I'll do it. He said, look, we creating this little sexy scene in the bathroom. I was like, oh, that's gonna be hot. I'm promoting the party. I'm like, yeah, man, this is a nice event. You see, we up here in the tub. First of all, if somebody here is on fire, it's a panic. Yo, your hair. It should be crazy. This is all I heard. I heard, yo, your hair's on fire. I turned around, I saw it, I was like, oh! The flame grew, it was like somebody threw gasoline on it. So my first instinct was to save myself, because at the end of the day, I don't want to die. Weaves are the most flammable thing out. Okay? A weave, if there had been another girl next to her with a weave, that thing would have caught faster than the forest fire. So I just said, let me save myself.
You said I mentioned Justin Bieber. You ain't say I mentioned Kevin Hart.
Okay. Well, what's going on with Kevin Hart?
I don't know, man.
Oh,
they, the internet is going wild on him, saying that he was a curator and a narrator of one of the Diddy parties and got caught on tape. You hear that?
Wow. I didn't hear that one.
That must be one of your favorite. That must be one of your favorite comedians then. Cause you ain't hear that?
Kevin's cool.
Huh?
I didn't hear it.
Get out of here.
Kevin's cool, but I didn't hear that one. I must have missed it, man. I think I caught most of them.
I think he almost fell in the tub with one of the girls. Diddy had some girls in the tub, a tub of baby oil or something like that, and he almost fell in the tub. It was crazy.
You know, he would be one of the celebrities that I definitely wouldn't think would be involved in anything illegal, for sure.
But you gotta realize this, man. People who get caught up in certain those things like that, those parties and things like that, is that they don't go there looking for that stuff. You gotta understand, they get caught up in the moment with the alcohol, the drugs, and then certain bottles that are laced with certain things that take you away from your normal self. And you end up probably doing something that you probably never do again in your life. You never get caught up in those things.
What do you think will happen now to Jay-Z? Is Jay-Z really involved in the recent allegations against Diddy, or is he innocent? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel.